looking forward to having this discussion with this esteemed group of panelists. I think right now the digital landscape continues to become more and more complicated. And it's important that we don't just reach a broad audience anymore. We need to make sure that we're connecting with the right people. We have to make sure that we are reaching an incremental audience and our most valuable audience. Today we're going to be really diving in to explore that. How can we unlock the power of data, not just to reach more people, but to reach the right people at the right moment with the right message. We all know we're swimming in data today, from transaction data to behavioral data to retail data. But it's not about having the data. We have the data. It's learning how to take that data and really understand how to leverage all of it to connect people and to create those touch points to drive incrementality for our clients. So who better to guide us through this than our panel of experts? Thank you so much for the introduction. So let's dive right in. Let's get ready to explore how brands like Heineken are leveraging these identity type solutions. And let's get this started. So let's kick it off. So as we're all trying to stick to our New Year's resolutions, what is one bad habit in marketing identity that we should look to try and resolve and leave behind in 2024? I'll start with you, Leah.
Hi. So I'm going to say the bad habit we should leave behind is fear of the new, or maybe clinging to legacy approaches. And obviously, this applies well beyond marketing identity. But being here at CES, surrounded by so much innovation, I think it's that perfect opportunity and moment to remind ourselves of how quickly technology is changing, consumer behaviors are changing, and remind ourselves that what we did last year and the year before is not going to work, or not going to work in the same way moving forward. And I know we all begin the year with test budgets and with innovation budgets and very, very realistic reality of business and budget pressures and constraints. But I would say that the other bad habit we're going to leave behind is cutting those testing budgets first. Because if we don't evolve our approaches, we're going to get left behind. So let's remember the inspiration that we have here and rally our organizations to keep the new.
I love that. Continue to test and learn into 2025. What about you, Frank?
I would say don't forget that you're marketing to people, and don't market to people in a way that you wouldn't want to be marketed to. I was just telling the ladies before this, I made a purchase for the first time from a company over the holidays, and I have received multiple emails from them every single day since. And I don't want those. And I'm sure there's a metric somewhere that tells them that there is no limit on the number of emails that they can be sent that are gonna drive sales. But I can tell you, it's bugging the shit out of me. So, think like a person and think and market to people the way you'd want to be marketed to.
And if we add to that too, the idea of connection and the experience that, I think we're going to talk about connectivity and integration a lot today, is that you're reaching them in the email and in the ad and in everywhere else. So I think sometimes we don't live through their experiences, but our organizations.
Yeah, and I think based on the type of data sources that you have, making sure that you're reaching people at the right time with all of the different data sources that you have
Except
available.
Frank, because he gets annoyed.
Yes,
Yeah.
At the right time, not 500 times, the right time. All right, so the next question, this one's for Leah. Oh, great. Here, I'm gonna move down one. Here, go ahead. No, you're great. Here you go. We need our retail expert here as well. We're going to talk through Instacart in a little bit. So for Leah, dentsu's ability to really scale an identity solution, Mercury, with the trade desk, with UID2, has really, from what we hear, been a game changer when it comes to reaching Heineken and some of your other dentsu clients' desired audiences. Tell us a little bit more about that. How does this advancement really impact your perspective on individual user addressability and finding those right consumers?
Yeah, so this partnership has in fact been a game changer. For Heineken, we follow a playbook that we leverage across many of our dentsu clients, and it's really about building our audiences in Mercury, as you mentioned. That is the dentsu data identity, end-to-end data identity solution and platform, and then matching it with the trade desk in order to get incremental and scaled reach. So as we think about Heineken in particular, scaled reach of the most valued audience. So we always begin with building that most valued audience in Mercury. For Heineken, we call it the volume target. The volume target is comprised of a range of data sources from Mercury, as well as partners like Ibotta and Numerator with shopping data. And it's effectively the premium beer drinker, not to oversimplify, Frank. But what we do is we have that understanding, and then with the partnership with Trade Desk, we are able to actively scale this audience addressably throughout the open internet. And what we've seen is that we can reach 75% of this Mercury target using this UID partnership versus under 50% with a cookie match only. So again, a significant improvement and opportunity for our clients. As we think about these partnerships, as we think about these innovations, we really consider a few things in the process. One of them is the fidelity and scale that it affords us, of the data that it affords us. So are we getting incremental scale? Are we getting more reach? And is that verified? So very important for us to consider that. The second thing that we think about is, are we getting more impactful data signals? For example, are we getting new signals that enable us to do more for our clients? Are we getting a new opportunity to match to a business outcome as opposed to a media metric? So anything that affords us better performance and outcome for our clients. Another thing that we've been able to do at the Trade Desk is different partnerships and different data access, like Instacart, which I know Frank is going to speak about in a second. But without that partnership with the Trade Desk, we wouldn't have the opportunity to leverage this Instacart data to rebuild our audiences and get that incremental reach and get those incremental signals.
Yeah, and I wanted to just go back to one of the points you mentioned around being able to reach 70% of a Mercury audience. You mentioned before that being able to verify all of the data, you're reaching the right people, making sure that you're able to do that measurement back to that initial Mercury consumer. So great to hear that UID is able to really deliver on a volume that makes sense for you guys. Let's go to a question for Frank. Heineken has a long history of leveraging partnerships in media strategies. Would love to just hear a little bit about how your partnership with Dentsu and the Trade Desk have really transformed your approach to data-driven marketing.
Yeah, so the like in my role, like we do everything from paid media deals with through the Trade Desk to Coachella to Formula One. So partnership is a really, really important thing. One of the things that we found the Trade Desk to be great at is being able to explain the technology and the opportunity to people that aren't hands-on keyboard every single day. And the way that we work together, right? Has been incredibly helpful for us, driving huge ROI, giving us opportunities to unlock new data sources. We talked about Instacart, there are other partnerships, and we feel like the Trade Desk is the one partner out there that gives us access to all of these other things first, and let's say honestly as well, without taking a little cut off the top for themselves that is hidden sometimes with some other partners, but I don't want to shame anybody.
Honesty, we like that over here. We're big on honesty.
Transparency, right?
Yeah, yes. That's great to hear. And I know when we were talking earlier, you mentioned the ability to connect upper funnel media to lower funnel media.
Yeah, no, it's a good build. Also, the way our team is set up, the people that do the sort of high funnel media, let's say. And we all know the funnel is not really a thing, but the higher awareness media at Heineken and the team that does e-com are different teams. And one of the key connection points is actually our relationship with Dentsu and the Trade Desk. So that actually brings us closer together, our relationship with those two entities.
That's great. And I think if we're talking about data utilization, being able to also use data across the funnel in connecting upper funnel to lower funnel strategies, especially given, different teams working there. It's great to hear that, we're able to work to help to make that happen for you guys. Okay. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi. I got stuck in a ARIA elevator.
Oh,
The line, I should
No.
say.
if you actually got stuck in the elevator,
We've all been there.
That's another story for another day. But we're talking obviously about how to combine different data sources to drive incremental reach and to reach new consumers. And I think Instacart does a great job of that. Would love to just hear from you on that specific role, how you really work to connect to shoppers through retail data.
Yeah. I think the one thing to first point out is we are not a retailer. We call ourselves a retail enablement platform. And we have 1,500 retailers on our marketplace. That translates to 85,000 stores. Our marketplace has been open for business for 13 years now. So we have 13 years of online shopper habits that we've seen. And, so that gives us the opportunity to see how our consumers shop across many different surfaces. It's not just one retailer, it's 1,500 retailers across many different occasions, whether they're doing their weekly shop or they're buying their beer for their summer barbecue. And so having that unique lens of that consumer is very different than any other retailer, and brands are coming to us and very interested in being able to target that consumer off platform. And that's our partnership with the Trade Desk. And it's giving brands the opportunity to target that consumer and more importantly, be able to track that ad exposure with closed loop measurement to really be able to understand, did that drive a sale? And for many brands and CPGs, that's not something that they've been able to track in the past.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go next on just given the nature of CPG and now having the ability to really measure in a way that historically wasn't possible. So how specifically for Instacart, you mentioned that you work across a bunch of different retailers. How has that really been able to drive, new insights for some of your partners like Heineken?
Yeah, I mean, because of all the different retailers that we do work with, and because like Frank was saying, the teams aren't necessarily talking to each other. The brand teams aren't necessarily talking to the commerce teams, although we are starting to see that converge and come much closer, especially with the agency teams. But what we're seeing and hearing from many brands now is that they really want to peel the onion and start to understand what exactly is in that consumer's basket. And by understanding what else is in that consumer's basket, they're starting to put that shopper insight at the center of their planning. And it's no longer this, my shopper planning is siloed over here now. It really is at the center of the strategic planning. And so that's what they're coming to us with, those insights. And because it's across so many retailers, it's that much more valuable to them.
That's great. And I'd love to hear from Frank, too, specifically as it relates to Heineken. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, specifically with Instacart, right? We use them to augment our Mercury data, and which is, as Leah said, it's an amazing basis, giving us reach. There's about 100 million people in the U.S. that would consider buying a premium beer. And it's just kind of an interesting size of a number because it's certainly a lot, but there's 300 million people, over 300 million people in the U.S., so it's not, you can't just shout out the window, right? Mm-hmm. So when working with Instacart, we found a big unlocker with new audiences that we couldn't see before, or we couldn't reach specifically before, specifically like 22 to 29 on the younger end of the legal drinking age, where we weren't having as much visibility, not surprisingly. And we saw huge results of that campaign because we were reaching people we hadn't reached before, and we're seeing it work all the way through and actually seeing those people buy for the first time.
Yeah.
I'll add a little color on what we did. Is we actually, through the trade desk, so we recreated the volume target in the trade desk using Instacart data. We called it the translated volume target, and we worked with 3 different retail partners on this exercise, and the Instacart data had the largest incremental household I think it was 82% unique incremental household reach for this exploration, which was incredible and certainly taught us a lot about, as I said, those criteria and qualifiers before. Is it providing incremental reach, and is it giving us greater signals? And the answer is yes, because we could better understand frequency within that universe, as well as getting different buyer behaviors that enable quick and often and close to real-time optimization opportunities.
It's been pretty consistent across other brands when we're testing off-platform. This is the first year that we've been doing the off-platform, but we're seeing really positive return on ad spend, and even better, new to brand metrics have been really positive.
That's great to hear. And it's so interesting that you mentioned that, you're seeing such a new audience come in. You have your Mercury audiences that are great. They're tried and tested and true. And now as you get new converters, that then can kind of help to fuel that strategy moving forward. So, what does that flywheel of data look like? How do you, continue to augment existing strategies with new ones? And to Leah's point before, it's test and learn, right? Like, how do we take this and continue to enhance it moving forward? Leah, I'd love to hear from you, just working from an agency perspective. What are some of the challenges, the opportunities for implementing campaigns like this that use Mercury, but also have the opportunity to take advantage of other data sources?
Yeah, I mean, not to oversimplify, but it's a single view, right? So having all the information, or as much more information in a centralized place, gives us greater opportunity to delve and get marketing insights. And that allows for more personalization opportunities that are consistent and cohesive. It allows us to get increased scale and incremental reach while managing frequency. It allows us to do things like, again, have better optimization opportunities and better signals. So, I mean, that unified view unlocks so much incredible opportunity. On the challenge side, let's not fool ourselves. It is hard. This is not a one and done. There's not a single button to push to get this done. Innovation and these new approaches require investment in time, system, processes, often organizational impacts. Frank talked about, the 2 different teams touch this data. So you have to be open and willing to make the change. So there's that piece of it. On top of it, you have data and privacy regulations. Yes. You've got technology and operational considerations and constraints, especially as you're working across ecosystems and walled gardens. So it is not for the faint of heart, but it is certainly worth it. And if we don't take advantage of these opportunities, we are going to be missing out on reach, new audiences, and being able to better connect and engage and convert consumers.
Or Frank's just going to continue to get 17 emails from the same
1,000%.
provider over and over again.
Who wants that?
Nobody wants that. Yeah. Frank, do you have anything to add there? I saw you.
I think Leah said it really well. It's just basically, in this world of data and how everyone is so protective of their data, finding a partner like the trade desk that can kind of knock down some of the walled garden walls, and where we can use multiple sources in one place. Again, it's exactly what you said. It's increased reach, managing frequency, all that, and just making sure that's why we're seeing our ROIs go up as we continue to test and learn.
Yeah, and I know earlier we were talking about just different types of media channels that we can now reach with data. And I know from our perspective, connected TV now having the ability to use this type of a data strategy on a television screen is great, and to be able to yeah, and to be able to take that consumer through that journey too. So that's
I'll
yeah.
put this out there. I can't wait to say more words like interconnected, connected, interoperable, and open. Anyone game for it?
Someone's bingo card
Yeah,
just lit up.
maybe? I don't know.
I like that. I'm gonna actually start that bingo card. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So as we look towards the future, as we look towards 25, 26, what do you guys think is going to happen? What's next? What do we need to focus on in order to continue to evolve to reach our the best customers?
Do you want me to start?
You can start. Yeah.
I'm happy. Do you mind if I look at it from a retail lens? Just because we hear it a lot from brands and agencies, but I think the number that I heard this week is there's 250 retail media networks out there, and I don't envy the brands.
Not interconnected.
Not interconnected. I do not envy brands and agencies in just the kind of, how do you choose whose data is best? And, I don't have any leverage on you. I don't put your products on my shelf, but there's definitely retailers that have that leverage and want you to use their data off platform. And because Instacart has 1,500 retailers on our platform, and we are a retail enablement platform, also allowing the smaller retailers to build out their advertising practice with our Carrot ads. A lot of brands and agencies are coming to us and saying, help us to make this less fragmented and help us to drive some standardization and some consistency. We were the first retail media network to be MRC accredited, and our product team and our measurement team is in deep with the IAB now to make sure that we are driving that standardization in the measurement component, the data component, as well as the ad format. I mean, even ad formats are not the same. So helping to try and drive that consistency in 2025.
Love that. So we're gonna fix fragmentation of retail data. Okay, that's step number one. Yeah, that's great. And I think retailers or retail partners like Instacart are doing a great job in kind of getting that started. So, Leah, would love to hear from you.
Yeah, also thinking about the retail impact on all of this, I think the retail data that we have is incredible. We work with various CPGs, the lack of first-party data in particular in that category. This is an incredible opportunity to bring actual purchase behavior to the conversation. I think performance data is not just for performance media, right? So
Yes.
how do we think about using that retailer data throughout the non-existent funnel, but the consumer journey for brand activations as well as more performance-oriented media activity? So I think that's going to be really, really big. The other one I will talk about is closed loop. So again, full closure, understanding exactly what that impression yielded, and the impact and continued expansion and explosion of clean rooms. So again, not an interoperable and interconnected space, but very important for us to start thinking about how we are measuring impact. And very excited to tease a little bit coming with the Trade Desk and Dentsu in terms of closed loop and clean room capabilities. So stay tuned for that.
Check out all your social channels.
Social
Coming soon. Yeah, check out the
social
socials.
media. Yeah.
For me, I'm just super fascinated with what the TikTok shop has been able to do. Regardless of what happens with TikTok in the next few weeks, like that insight is now out there. And the way that TikTok essentially reinvented the infomercial and put it into a few seconds, and a product that you had never heard of a minute ago, 2 taps later is now on its way to your house.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
And that's really cool for stuff that you would find in TikTok shop, stuff that you don't know. But like, what I'm thinking about is how could an established brand that's been around for 150 years take that insight and try to make it work? I don't know yet, but it's something that I'm excited to try to figure out.
It's great. It's exciting. All right. Any closing thoughts you guys have? And then I think we'll wrap.
Drink water, everybody, while you're here. Make sure that you stay hydrated.
Or
Yeah,
Heineken.
Yeah. Or yeah. You can have. No, I know that you're drinking Heineken. I have to remind you to drink water. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.